Live Jump with Leader Brad.
And happy Sunday evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Live Talk with Benita Bradley. I am your host, Benita Bradley, and I do hope that you guys are having a wonderful Sunday. It is absolutely gorgeous here in Atlanta. We had a chance to get out today and just do a little self-pampering and, the whole Starbucks thing. So I do hope that your day is going well. I hope you've had an extraordinary week. And I hope that the week to come will be even better for you. I pray that you guys are doing extremely well. I pray that you're staying safe, still washing your hands, still wearing your mask, and still social distancing. And those of you that have already gotten your vaccine, I hope that you are doing well with that. I pray that you are not experiencing any side effects or ill side effects or anything of that nature. So I just pray that everyone is doing well and that all is well with you and yours. So this evening, we're not going to be on long because here's what happened. So I am twice booked this evening. First, I have my show, and then I'm going to be a guest on another show. I'm actually going to be interviewed for a change. Instead of me doing the interviewing, I'm going to be interviewed tonight on a podcast called Under the Tree podcast. And so that's going to come on at 7:30. So I'm not going to be long right now. I just wanted to introduce what we're going to be talking about next, about coping with dealing single and all of that good stuff. Because so many people are talking about being single, and then some people, they're saying, "Oh, I'm single because I want to be," and there's people that say, "Well, I'm single because there's no good men out there." Men are saying, "Well, I'm single because there are no good women." So everybody has something to say about being single. Married people are telling single people, "Try to stay single." Single people want to be married. If we be honest, for the most part, I think a lot of times, particularly when it comes to Christian single people, I think Christian single people, I mean, I do know people love each other and all of that, but I think sometimes the real thing is that people want to be able to have sex and not be in a sinful position about having it. And so that's where they get a lot of that. Oh, it's better to marry and than to burn, and we kind of use that as a go-to scripture when we start talking about being single and everything that comes with being single. Uh, to each his own, and certainly this is not the platform where we judge or uh, tell you what to do with your body or anything of that nature, because that's your business. And one of the things I do not ever want to get into on this platform or any other platform for that matter is talking to grown people about what they do or don't do uh, in the privacy of their own home or hotel or car or wherever people meeting up these days, in the back, in the corner, in the dog, in the booth, back, where all of that goes on. But you have to come to the realization that if you enjoy being single, then just enjoy it. If you enjoy it, then don't complain about it. But if you are tired of being single and you keep saying to yourself, "Gosh, I've been single for so long, I just don't know what else to do," sometimes, this is just sometimes, and this is not applicable to everybody. Sometimes being single is a matter of choice, and then sometimes it's a matter of fact. And what I mean by that is that sometimes men and women, but mostly women, we are not as approachable as we think we are. Good evening, Instagram. It's so good to have you guys back with us. I hope, we're praying, got everything crossed. I hope you guys are able to stay on. We've been having so many problems with Instagram staying on with us lately. So thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out with us. I do hope you're able to see the entire show this evening, okay? We're not going to be long, not even an hour long. So I'm just going to give you just a little tidbits, and then we're going to come back during the week and really go through some of this stuff. Okay. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you, YouTube, all of you on Facebook. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please make sure you share the videos, and invite other people to come and watch as well. And so I was reading um, something, and it made reference. I think it's going to be in one of the videos that I'm going to show you later on during the week. Um, a gentleman said that if he has 100 friends, out of 100 of his friends, 88 of them are still single. Out of 100 male friends that he was saying 88 of them are still single. And we're going to get into all the whys and the wherefores of being single a little bit later when we get into, the meat and potatoes of it. But right now, because I am uh, double booked for my show, then an interview later on, I'm just going to give you a little tidbits, okay? And I appreciate you guys being patient with me on that end. So let's look at some, you guys know I love research. So let's look at some research that was verified by Psychology Today, and it's talking about ways to cope with being single. And a lot of times people, being single is not a death sentence. Just let me just say that. It's not a death sentence. Being single doesn't have to mean that no one wants you, or that, you're unattractive, or any of that. Sometimes being single is a matter of your choice. Some people have gone through bad relationships, poor relationships, horrible breakups, and they just don't want to give it another try. I mean, and we're not here to convince anyone to give love another try, or to get back into the dating game, or anything like that, because the truth of the matter is we don't know what people go through on a daily basis. We don't know what someone considers as, enough being enough. We don't know any of that, and we certainly don't know what people are really looking for, because sometimes we're a little bit shy to say what we're looking for. Because if you're a woman and you say, well, I want a man that this and this, most of the time the argument comes back, well, are you this and that? So a lot of times people shy away from saying what they want. And then men are criticized equally for saying, well, I want a woman that looks this way. Men are they're visionaries. They see, they're attracted to what they see. We are most attracted to what we hear. So if a man is saying the right thing, a lot of times he can kind of capture our attention by what he says. Now, once you get older, what he says has to match what he does. That's just me. So if what you say don't match what you do, child, we're not going to waste that kind of time with each other. But for the most part, if you are single, how are you handling that? Particularly during this pandemic, everybody, married people, people that's living together, people that are cohabitating. Again, that's not what we're here to talk about. They have someone to go through the difficult times with, the times when you can't go here, you can't go there, all you can do is stay home. But single people, we're like, Home Alone part 1, 2, and 3. We got to find stuff to do to make sure we maintain some degree of mental decorum while we go through this process of waiting, on a mate, on a spouse. Everybody don't want to get married, so some people just want a mate or a partner. They don't necessarily want a spouse. And again, that's your business. We're cool with that. But for people who really want to be married, here's my question. Why is that such a bad thing to admit? Like, it's no sin in wanting something. If you're a single person and you want to be in a relationship, and you want that relationship possibly to lead to marriage, there's no sin in saying, hey, I want to be married. Hey, I want to have somebody to come home to. I want somebody to come home to me. I want to have somebody to love me. I want to have somebody to have conversations with. I want to have somebody to argue with, kiss and make up with. There's no harm in saying these things. But here's the thing, and I want to speak to you directly, first of all, from a Christian perspective. And again, no indictment against the church, but we have made it almost impossible for women to be honest enough to say, you know what, child, I'm tired of being single. Because as soon as a woman says that, and particularly a Christian woman, child, everybody start throwing scripture. Well, the Bible say, "He that findeth." You ain't got no big. You just stay busy for the Lord, And I just cringe every time I see it. I cringe when I hear it because really, one thing has absolutely nothing to do with the other. And so then we have a bunch of women in church. Church is packed full of women. We have a bunch of women in church not really living out their truth because the church has told them you're not supposed to even desire or want these things. You're not supposed to seek after these things. You're not supposed to try to better yourself, to put yourself in a position to where you are attractive. And some of you are not going to like the word I'm getting ready to use, but you use it all the time when you say, well, I'm not on the market, but I am on the market. Sometimes the church has not taught us as women how to be marketable, and you can take offense to that all day long, but you use it yourself when you say, well, I'm on the market or I'm no longer on the market. So I'm just going to say, you got to learn how to make yourself marketable. You got to learn how to be approachable. If a gentleman says, good evening, oh, praise the Lord. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? That's probably, and I hate to say this because it sounds a little, but that's probably why there's so many single women in church because we're not even taught to have a sense of femininity that's inviting to a gentleman to say, well, good evening. How are you? Or would you like to go have coffee? Would you like to go to lunch? Would you like to go have a cup of tea? Can I tell y'all something, ladies? Every man that approaches you is not necessarily trying to sleep with you. Okay? I'm going to say that one more time. Just because a man approaches you, it does not necessarily mean he is trying to sleep with you. When you take on that mentality, number one, it's going to keep you single. Number two, it's going to cause you to become bitter. Because what's going to happen every time somebody new approaches you, if you already got in your mind, oh, men just trying to sleep with me. Okay, so let me ask you this question, women. So you mean to tell me, out of all the women in this world, he bypasses every other woman that he sees just to get to you and sleep with you? Girl, come on. And then we wonder why we are not attracting really what we want. Sure, listen, I'm all for making your list and checking it twice, see what boxes he check off. I'm not telling you to drop your standards. I'm not going to tell you to lower your standards. What I am going to tell you to do is get to a place in your mind where you understand just because somebody speak to you, that don't mean that they're trying to go to bed with you. And I do believe, this is just me. This is just me. This is Live Talk with Benita Bradley. I am your host, Benita Bradley. This is just me. Sometimes when we have these women conferences and all that, I think we should teach women how to flirt a little bit, how to be girly, how to embrace their feminine energy, instead of just talking about, putting the pieces back together. Well, everybody don't want to remain in the broken place. So every time we come together, we got to put each other back together. Can't we just celebrate being feminine? Can't we just celebrate being women? Can't we just celebrate being the one, that God pulled out of someone and presented to him? Can't we just celebrate that? Can't we celebrate the fact that we have the power to be so diverse? Monday, I might wear a long wig. Sunday, I got my natural hair going. By Tuesday, I might have a wig all the way down my back. By Thursday, I'm wearing a bob. We have so much to celebrate as being women. We're missing so much because we get so wrapped up into protecting our singleness until we're single too long sometimes. And listen, I know I'm talking fast, but listen, It doesn't always have to be that way. You can be single and still be fulfilled as a woman. You can be single and still be fulfilled as a man. And you can certainly be as attractive as anything and still be unapproachable. Just because you got a cute face or a slim waist doesn't make you attractive. Doesn't mean that you're approachable. Nobody wants to engage someone with, your face is always scoured, Hey, you're like, oh, okay. And then you wonder why you're single. Oh, men ain't looking for women no more. All of them want men. That's not true. That's not true because you put out bad energy. That's what you get. So when the brother look at you and you scouring at him, he walks on by you. Oh, so now he gay. Now he don't like women. Now all men ain't no good. Men ain't even looking for real women. Come on. We got to bring some of this energy down, number one. Number two, we got to start taking responsibility. We got to become accountable for what we present. If you are wanting to no longer be single, then stop acting like you still want to be single. That's pretty simple, right? If you don't want to be single, stop acting like you already want to be single all the time. You don't even engage people in conversation. Oh, the Lord told me you was going to stop and talk to me, but I had already prayed. Some of this, I know it's comical, guys, but listen, some of the stuff I hear and see, I'm just like, child, you gonna be an old maid. You're gonna be an old maid. Like for real. And then some of the brothers, I know some of you guys have gone through your own testing trials with women. We like to talk about men and how they do women, but it is some women out there that have left some good men damaged. So now, when the next woman comes along and she's really sweet and ready to love him and all of that, he has a difficult time adjusting to this kind of woman now because that kind of woman, hold on, let me turn this down, because that kind of woman treated him so bad, treated him so bad and he was so good to her. So then what happens when she's done with him, he needs to go through a period of healing so that the next woman that he encounters, she's not made accountable or responsible for what someone else did. And women, we can say the same thing. Yeah, some of us have been in some hellacious relationships. And however, if you don't take that time to heal, everybody else that comes along, you're going to swear before heaven and earth that all men are the same. Why? Because you have not taken the time to heal your heart from the hurt that you experienced. And hurt in any form is still hurt, ladies and gentlemen. And so if you are tired of being single, the first thing I want you to do is just stop sometimes. Stop complaining about being single and then do a introspection. Take some inventory of yourself. Where are you currently? What have you done to prepare yourself to even engage the opposite sex in communication? Are you inviting? What does your body language say? If you're sitting at a restaurant and perhaps you're just sitting there by yourself or what have you, and body language, I don't know how much of me you guys can see. I'm going to try to do a few demonstrations real quick. So if you are a woman, let me see if I can move this. Maybe you guys can see me a little bit better. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, maybe you guys can see me a little bit better. So if you are a woman and you're out, all right, and a gentleman approaches you, okay, you see him approaching you. And so you go, yes. That is so uninviting. Like, I would walk away too if I was him, you know? But your body language if you can adjust your body language, I'm not telling you to, whatever, because, I have a different personality. So you don't try to do what I do, because that's just me. Uh, but if a gentleman is coming your way, at least, make eye contact with them, smile at them. If he says hi, hi, you know, my name is Graham. Hi, I'm Benita. How are you? What harm does that, cause to just engage someone, give them a smile? Ladies, listen, just because you smile at a gentleman, you're not going to go to hell. you know you're not going to get whipped with 30 lashes and all that kind of stuff. It's not going to affect your anointing. It has nothing to do with any of that. It does not suggest that you are easy prey or easy lay. It doesn't suggest any of that. It just suggests that you are a woman and you are confident in yourself, and that you understand this is how men and women communicate. This is how the process begins. So if you don't even understand how the process begins, we're going to always have issues with being single too long. And sometimes I was doing some research. We're going to get into this. I'm not going to try to get too much into all of the research today. But in this research, it talks about sometimes we can be single for so long, in our minds, we start saying, well, I ain't going to never get nobody. And the more you tell yourself that, the more your behavior and your body language starts to adjust and adapt to what your words say. Because if you remember, even if you go, those of you that are Bible readers, if you go back to the beginning of time in Genesis, whatever God wanted to see, he said it, when he said, let there be, and it was, let there, and it was. So we have to think like this. If I say a thing, eventually I'm going to see it. So you got to be careful about what you say. If your contention is that, well, I ain't gonna never get married, I ain't gonna never meet nobody nice, and all men are dogs, or all women are just after my money, that's what you're going to create in your universe, because your words have power. On the flip side, if you continue to say, well, I know I'm a good wife, or I'm a good husband, I'm good wife material, I'm good husband material, I'm not trying to be a wife, I'm a wife. I came up with this thing that I like to say, I'm an unmarried wife, or I'm a single wife. I like to say that is how I describe myself, because that's who I am. I'm a single wife. I'm not going to try to be a wife once someone says, hey, I'm interested in you, this, that, and the third. Let's see where we can go with this. Let's talk. Let's have coffee. Let's go for lunch, what have you. I'm not going to try. I don't have to try to now adjust my thinking or my rationale to try to become a wife. I have already made myself a wife now during my singleness. Well, we're going to get into that too. So when we are saying, I'm tired of being single, but I don't know what to do. Tired of being single, but I don't know where to meet people. I'm tired of being single, but I don't think there are any good men out there. And then men say it too. All men, just because they're single, don't mean they want to be single. Some men want to get married, but when a man gets a certain age, I'm blessed to have I'm blessed to have good friends. Let me put it like that. And good male friends that talk to me and, just really open up and transparently talk to me. And once a man get a certain age, ladies, listen, he's not with all that drama and, popping your neck and popping your mouth. And he's just not with all of that. I'm just going to tell you. And he's not with you coming, always want to hear what my pastor said and my bishop said and my apostle said. A man don't want to hear all that. He wants to know what's in your heart. If he's interested in you, he'll let you know. Some men are a little shy, it might take a little bit longer, but hey, that's your job to make him sometimes feel comfortable. And you can do that with your body language. You can do that by being open. And when I say open, let's not be ignorant to think that I'm talking about anything sensual or sexual. Okay, let's not be ignorant to these word choices. When I say open, I just mean be inviting, show that you are actually interested in no longer being single. Because if you're saying, well, I've been single so long, I'm tired of being single, but then every time somebody approach you, you either too spiritual, or you just uninviting, or you're unapproachable, but there is no middle ground for you to exercise your gift. Because let me tell you something, and I'm almost done. Being a woman is a gift. It's not a curse, it's a gift. And the problem is, and I'm going to say this, and I don't know how this is going to fare with everybody, but I'm going to say it. The problem is that we've been taught so long as a culture of people, African American, and particularly in the church. We've been taught for so long to that to be Christian means to, be pale faced and, uh, you know, um, uh, we're not supposed to use the word sexy to describe ourselves, and because that's worldly, that's carnal. We're taught to, and I get being covered and all of that, but sometimes we take it too far, and we're too extreme with it, so much so to the point where we lose our femininity while trying to prove a point that we are wife worthy, that I am this good Christian woman, I am this good submissive type woman, and then what happens is a lot of times when men do get these kind of women, and then they get you home, yeah, you submissive, but you also got a little hell in you too. And how does that happen? Because you are not allowed to even be who you really are. I don't necessarily, let me just tell you about me. I don't do a lot of women's conferences. You know why? I used to love them. I used to love them. But then I felt as if we were missing a few components. And one of the main components I felt like we were missing was to address the aspect of being a woman. I was invited to speak at a women's conference, and they wanted me to speak on being broken. And I said, well, um, I'm not there in that place anymore, So you don't have another topic that you can give me, because I don't necessarily want to speak on being broken. Every conference I go to, I don't want to have to be made whole over and over and over again. What would be beneficiary is to now let's teach women how to be more responsible for the choices that we make when we pick a man. A man, he doesn't just pick us, we pick them as well. Because once he says, well, would you like to have coffee? Yes or no? Would you marry me? Yes or no? We make a decisions too. We have decisions that need to be made too. So we can't just keep putting it all off on the men. We've made some horrible decisions when it comes to matchmaking and people we hooked up with, people we've had children with, people we've married. So we can't just put it all off on them. We got to start taking responsibility. And so a lot of times during these conferences, what kind of turns me up, and hopefully some of you women are listening that do women conferences, start telling women to embrace their femininity. You always got to be covered. You always got to be this. You always got to be that. Teach them how to embrace who they are. Your body is your temple. Teach them how to take care of the temple. Teach them how to exercise. Teach them how to, Uh, 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 I remember one of my girlfriends got married. It's so funny. I'm gonna try to get the video and upload it. Well, she had never worn a pair of stilettos, and and you know I lives for some stilettos. So I had a couple of pair of mine. We were in Philadelphia where she got married, and so the night before she got married, she came over to where we were staying, and I gave her a lesson in walking in stilettos. It was hilarious. I'm gonna try to find the video, so next time we talk about this, I'm gonna show it to y'all because I know she don't mind. And but we need to be taught a little bit more, and I probably know you guys will think, oh, she's gonna talk about being single, she's gonna teach us how to get a man. No, first thing I want to talk to you about is learning how to accept who you are as a woman, embrace your femininity, because if I was a man, I would not want someone who act as hard as I, you know what I'm saying? Praise the Lord. You just all mean mugging and uninviting, and there's no sweetness dripping from you. I'm not talking about being, you know, what's the word y'all like to use? Um, I'm not talking about, like being easy or whatever. I just think that's such a misconception that we have put out there as a culture and as a church to women, to make them feel like it's something wrong with being a woman, something wrong with being feminine, something wrong with, putting on a dress and heels, something wrong with, being whoever you're gonna be. You wear your natural hair, wear it. You want weave, wear it. You want braids, wear it. You want to shave all your hair off, do whatever you want to do, but embrace yourself as a woman. And I cannot express it enough that that is a missing component that we need, particularly Black women. A friend of mine said something to me, and at first it was kind of offensive. But then as I began to research some things, we're taught different about our bodies in other cultures. You know, that's just true. That's just true. And so other cultures are taught to embrace themselves and embrace their bodies and embrace that and celebrate their bodies. And they're a lot more liberal than we are, of course. But then how come it is when it comes to uh, African American women, we're taught the complete opposite? And then we wonder why we have so many single women. We wonder why. Being a woman, don't let that be your curse. Let that be your blessing. Let that be your calling card. Let it be your statement of who you are. I cannot express this enough that your femininity, I promise you, that can take you so much further than you trying to be deep and wonderful every time a man approaches you. Sometimes a conversation is just a conversation. You know, uh, Now if he's always in the DM and your inbox and what's up, queen and beautiful, that turns me off because that's such a generic greeting. You call everybody that. You can't call me what you call everybody else. That's just me. My name is Benita. You can call me, hey, Benita, or Miss Bradley. Uh, that's what I answer to. Hey, queen. Hey, beautiful. I don't answer to all of that because that's something you call everybody, you know. And I think those are things that we as women, we have to start putting down some barriers between us and the next person. You can't just call me what you call every other woman. Why? Because I'm not like every other woman. And if that is that's how you feel about yourself, then that's just how you feel. It's nothing wrong with having a sense of, self-love, self-confidence. You love yourself, you take care of yourself. And I'm not talking about to the point where you say, well, I don't need no man. Child, that's bogus anyhow. We don't even want to talk about that. Because if you don't have a man, most of the time you want one. And if you got one, you're trying to get rid of them sometime. But either way, I put up a post the other day. Most people, even having sex, you either having sex or you want to have sex. And I'm not just talking about married people, okay? So y'all can miss me with that one. You either want it or you're having it. And I'm still talking about single people. Okay. Okay. So listen, I'm getting ready to get out of here because I do have another show. I am being interviewed today. Um, we're talking about, on the other show, we're going to be talking about surviving. I don't know if you want to call it surviving or whatever, but we're going to be talking about prescription drugs and being addicted to prescription drugs and all of that kind of stuff. So when we flip over to Under the Tree, it's called Under the Tree. Look for it on Facebook and go and join that group, and you'll be able to watch us there later on tonight. I think it starts at 7:30. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and close, and we're going to come back because I got some videos and some interesting stuff to tell you about being single too long. The one thing I do want to share with you is that there are psychological ramifications of being single too long. I do want to close with this. I do want to close with this. And sometimes we make it out of like it's a victory card to hold up. I've been single for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and I've been celibate that whole time. I ask women to please stop uh, um, broadcasting how long you have been celibate. I beg women, please stop broadcasting that. Please stop broadcasting. Well, it's been 10 years for me. I've been celibate 20 years. Please, I've been celibate 3 years. Oh, I haven't had sex in 5 years. Please stop broadcasting that because you may not realize it, but that's how come all these creeps are in and out of your inbox and in and out of your DM. Trust me on this now, because everybody won't come in your inbox. Everybody won't come in your DM if they see that you are a woman that understands your worth. You love yourself. You got self-love. You got self-respect. You got self-esteem, and you know who you are, and you embrace your femininity. Stop putting all that other stuff out there because really that's nobody's business. To me, I think it's used, to kind of say, well, look at me, look how saved I am, look how holy I am. I ain't having sex. Some of y'all over there are having sex, but not me because I'm a good girl. Child by, and I think it paints a false narrative of who we really are sometimes as women, particularly women in church, and even more so women in ministry. Okay, so again, I do ask that you stop putting that out there like that because then you wonder why you keep throwing out dog biscuits and then dogs keep showing up, So I wanted to end with that. And then the last thing I really want to say to you again, being single is not a curse, but it can be a blessing if you learn how to operate within the parameters of being single. And what do I mean by that? Fix yourself up, ladies and gentlemen. You want something that looks nice. Well, guess what? So does he. So does she. Stop asking for what you're not willing to give. I'm just going to let that sink in. Stop asking for what you're not willing to give. I know what I want. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. You know, I know what I can tolerate. I know what I cannot tolerate at this point in my life. You know, I know what will make my life better at this point. I know what things will cause me, to seem to go backwards at this point in my life. You know, you got to learn yourself. If you have not learned to be single with you, you're going to be single a long time. You're going to be single a long time. So that was just a little segue, a little nuggets I wanted to throw out there to you. I hope you enjoyed this a little bit. Some of it was kind of comical, but I meant everything I said. Women, let's learn to embrace our femininity. Let's learn to embrace who we are as women. And, you don't have to have such a hard exterior, to prove to anyone that you're a good Christian woman or that, you're a good church going person. You don't have to be so hard. Uh, um, and let me just say this, playing hard to get honey, that's overrated and outdated. Nobody wants to work that hard just to have a conversation with you. Nobody does. No, 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 no. No, honey, nobody wants to work that hard. Nobody wants to hear, you know, uh, 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 Mary had a little lamb. Nobody wants to hear, from the four gospels. Nobody wants to hear all that just to ask you, can they have coffee with you? Or just to ask you to go have lunch or have tea or, just to get your phone number. Nobody wants to go through all of that. And listen, learn how to just have a conversation. It's a reason why a lot of people are single and will be single, particularly church women. Look at the statistics of how many men, the ratio of men to women. And then that's how come some women are just kind of giving up and then, well, I just go with somebody that's already with somebody. You get them half the week, I get them the other half the week. I don't know about you, but that kind of stuff don't work for me. It just doesn't work for me, because I don't like to share, particularly if I don't know I'm sharing. If I don't know I'm sharing, that's one thing. But if I know I'm sharing, I don't like to share like that. No, I don't like that. So listen, ladies, I want to especially talk to you because I'm a woman. I can't really get into deep detail about what men should and should not do, how they should and should not behave, what will garner them, what would cause them to be not single anymore if that's their choice, because I'm not a man. I got to stay in my lane. So a lot of these talks that I'm going to be having about being single for too long is going to be directed at women, but not necessarily in a, I'm punching at you kind of way, but come here, girl, let me tell you something kind of way, if you will, if you will. And it's really difficult to tell someone something who has these walls and these barriers built up, because you think you know it all, and because you think your way has been the best way, and that has kept you safe and it has kept you with a good reputation. But guess what? It also keeps you single. Okay. Also keeps you single. And all I'm saying is, listen, I'm not trying to tell you to be carnal. I'm not trying to tell you to sleep with that person or whatever, because that's something you're going to do. You're either going to do that or you're not. That's not my business. That's not what I'm here about. What I'm trying to do is get us to a point where we are embracing our femininity. We're excited about it again. Even when we get to go back to church, some people are already going back, but when things actually open all the way up, you know, I want to see a different church. I don't want us to just go back at church as usual. you know, After church, everybody go to the all you can eat smorgasbord and load up all the place. And, then everybody's so tired, we can't do nothing but go home and go to sleep, you know, and then revivals and conferences, we get out late, everybody going to the IHOP or whatever, 1 o'clock at night, everybody ordering all this food. I just want to see some things change for the better so that we can change for the better. Okay, I do hope I said something that would kind of pique your interest in the series that we're getting ready to go into. Um, hey guys, listen, I wish I could share y'all so bad. We have a special uh, surprise celebrity guest coming. Um, they've already sent over his information, his bio is sitting right here on my desk. And I'm just so excited. I did not know this would happen this way, but thank God it did. And I want to tell you again, remember, this is a platform for a social media talk show. This is not church, so I don't want you guys to be overly concerned if some of the guests, might say words that you might deem, inappropriate or what have you. This is not a platform that where the rules are, so strict that I only want church people watching my show. I only want to interview church people. This is not church. This is a platform of diversity and inclusion, because I want to hear from all walks of life, and I want us to experience each other in different forms, not just from church perspectives and not just from a Bible or biblical perspective, but I want us to be able to talk to each other in real life, you know, life outside the four walls. And I do think that if we begin to teach women, because that's what I am, I'm a woman, if we begin to teach them how to survive outside the church, then maybe some of these single conferences and single all of this and single that and single that, all of that won't have to be so much. It is ironic to me that when they do marriage uh, couples and all of that kind of stuff, everybody is taught about their role. But when we come to being single, the only role we are taught about is the role of pleasing the Lord. We're not taught that we can embrace our femininity and still maintain who we are as Christian women, that men can totally embrace their masculinity and still remain humble and know how to treat a woman and all of that good stuff. So I want us to start thinking about getting into the meat and potatoes of these kind of conversations coming up, okay? So like I said, I wasn't going to hold you long because I do have another show to do at 7:30. And so, hey guys, listen, remember, your singleness, listen, it's not a death sentence. My advice to you, learn who you are first. Ladies, listen, embrace your femininity. You know, love being a woman, love being soft on the inside. You know, I don't know um, what else to tell you. You know, real men, you know, they don't want somebody just as hard as they are. You know, they just don't. They don't. And uh, you should be like the calm. If he's in a storm, you be the calm to his storm. Just let me say it like that. And you can be that as a girlfriend or best friend or a partner or significant other without even going to all the other stuff that you might be thinking about. I'm trying to promote, you know. And so, because I'm not, that's just what it is. All right. So listen, when we come back during the week, I'm going to have some videos for you, and we're going to get into this good research I got. But for now, I got to get out of here because I got to feed my baby, and I got to get ready for the next show. And until next time, listen, you guys, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you share the videos. If you have something you'd like to say, put it in the comment section, or if it's private, send me a message in the inbox or what have you. And we will see you, I guess, in a little while. Stay tuned to my page because I think the show from the other where I'll be interviewed is going to come up on my page as well. So make sure you keep your notifications set, and we will see you next time. All right. Bye-bye.